Our top story on CBS 2 News now is an update on our breaking news. This huge two-alarm industrial fire at a food processing plant in Huntington Park.
Yeah, this is huge. Mike Case is live in Sky 2, first on the scene. Firefighters have had their hands full all morning. Last time I checked, there were 18 fire trucks at the scene. And, well, you know what? It looked like it was getting better, but my gosh, these flames are vicious.
You know, Sabila and Kent, they've been working this for about 28 minutes or so, and earlier reports came out that an explosion actually started this fire. An explosion, two alarms. We've had probably just hundreds of firefighters here. You can see them lined up all along Alameda. That's 6711 Alameda, right between Gage and Florence. And we're continuing to see lots of black smoke. Now, there may be several businesses located inside this one structure. One may contain some tires. We haven't confirmed that yet, but that would explain some of this thick black smoke. They do have these water cannons set up, both Vernon City Fire and LA County Fire. The Sheriff's Department's out here. Huntington Park Fire Department, or Huntington Park Police is out here. We have not heard of any injuries, but this continues to burn. It's visible from all the local freeways, and Alameda is shut down both directions here, so you're going to want to avoid Alameda. We'll have some alternates for you coming up, but this fire continues to burn out of control here in Huntington Park. Back to you.
Alameda, one of the busiest streets in Huntington Park, and Mike, as you tilt up, we see the smoke going miles into the sky, so commuters this morning on the 10 and the 710 and the 110 freeways, which are to the northeast and west of this plant, all will be able to see it. A population in Huntington Park about 60,000, but you're saying no evacuations just yet from any of the neighborhoods that are nearby. This is mostly an industrial area.
It is, Kent. You know, the city of Huntington Park just goes about 2 more blocks to the west from this fire, and that's all industrial, and then it starts into South Los Angeles, actually the city of LA. And you can see some residences, some homes there. However, on the east side of Alameda, those homes are very close to this fire. We haven't heard about evacuations and certainly no injuries, but because of this thick black smoke, we don't know what is in this smoke. It's just an idea, a good idea, to maybe keep your windows and doors shut. Stay inside here until they get an all clear on this, but no, we don't know when that's going to happen. Not in the near future anyway. Again, a second alarm fire here in Huntington Park.
Yeah, and Mike, as you were talking about that thick black smoke, I was thinking the same thing, because right now we think it's a food processing plant, and it makes you wonder what's inside the plant that's causing this fire to continue to grow. And talk to us about the significance of the thick black smoke as opposed to a smoke that is not as dark and maybe just more gray, a lighter gray.
I think, you know, of course, when they put the water on it, they started getting out, it turns to white smoke, so it's still, they've got a lot of fire fuel that's burning, whether that would be some type of refrigerant from the refrigerators in a food storage facility, or it could be tires. We've heard that part of the building may be used to contain tires in another section. Might be several businesses, but that thick black smoke, you know that they've got ready available fuels that are burning. And now we're seeing, in fact, I can see another fire here in South LA, a little bit north of us. We'll try to take a look at that in just a second. But right now, an explosion occurred right between Gage and Florence, just west of Alameda in Huntington Park.
And when I lived in Houston, we covered a lot of chemical fires. I always remember that we were always waiting to see the lighter smoke come out, and that was always a good thing. The darker the smoke was, the worse it was, because we knew that some type of fuel was burning inside.
Mike, you just showed us the other fire burning a little bit to the north. It looks much smaller by comparison with white smoke. What's in the tanks on this property? Sometimes they're propane tanks. I don't know if you're able to zoom in enough to be able to read, but that would be a concern. And we can see the fire cannons from the big hook and ladder nearby spreading water on the roof next door.
That's right. You know, they immediately went into that defensive mode. That's a good observation, Kent. We're going to try to zero in on that, see if we can find out whatever those hazmat codes are to see what would be contained in those. But I would imagine some type of food processing, food storage plant, you could have any number of chemicals, but something is definitely burning to cause this black smoke other than just property and building-wise, so something inside. Really they're concerned about. We can see food pallets on the south side of the building, so we know that that is some type of a food prep or a food storage facility. Again, you mentioned that fire cannon, and we've got about 3 of them here we can see on 2 sides of the building. So I tell you, it's a hot one, it's very smoky, and really a tough job here for LA County Fire and Huntington Park and Vernon Fire Department.
Yeah. And at 6:05, a lot of people going to work right now. Let's check in with Whitney and see how traffic's faring. Whitney?
All right, thank you, Sabila. Huntington Park, 6.5 miles southeast of downtown Los Angeles. The smoke is going to be visible from the 110, the 10, and the 710 freeway. Right now, we're not hearing of any problems on those freeways, but we are going to send it back up to Mike now to let us know, Mike, how is it looking on Alameda? I know that's a pretty busy stretch of road there between Gage and Florence. How is the traffic looking there?
Well, you know, north of Gage and south of Florence, it's just all solid LA County Fire and Vernon Fire. You can't even get anywhere near it. Just south of the fire, we saw some folks, looks like possibly employees that are seeing this for the first time as they make their way to work. Some good alternates, though. Central Avenue and, of course, Pacific on the east going through Huntington Park will get you through this. But again, between Gage and Florence on Alameda, you want to stay clear of that. You won't even be able to get near it because lots of fire equipment, and they do have this entire area shut down. But directly east or directly west, you can get through it. Just stay off of Alameda.
Okay, Mike, thank you so much.
All right, and Whitney, thank you as well for that. So we'll keep an eye on the traffic picture as well. Huntington Park, a city, a working class city, about 90% Latino population. Spanish is the first language. You know, Josh Rubenstein, you've been around for a while, perhaps best known for the fact that every year it has the first of the big Christmas parades, and it's a huge Christmas parade that brings in a third of a million people from all around Southern California, and it goes down the same streets that this morning are shut down because of this fire.
Yeah, it's really a tremendous, and we really haven't seen things relax all that much. You can see the firefighters, again, in that defensive posture there, where they're trying to cool the fire down. You saw when Sky 2 first arrived on the scene there, where the firefighters were just outside the doors of some of those big sliding doors there, trying to see what they could get in and make sure that they could clear the building. But now, clearly, you have those big water cannons on the fire right now, trying to cool things down to get a handle on it. And Kent, you mentioned all the tanks out around the side of it, which pose another problem there. Winds-wise, not a problem in the basin right now, which if you could imagine a day where we had those Santa Ana winds last week, really would have been quite significant, where we saw gusty winds throughout the basin and our valley cities. That big black plume of smoke, and Sabila, you mentioned that when you're seeing that big black plume, things are still burning there. We have a highly toxic environment out there, and again, a day where you're going to probably want to stay indoors if you don't have to be out this morning, probably smelling the smoke. Nothing good out there to breathe in. And again, look at that, right up there. He's at the top, that firefighter right at the top of there of that hook and ladder, and you can see that trying to just cool those flames down. Again, wind's not a problem here. Wind advisors up in the high desert, but certainly our focus is right here in Huntington Park, right in the basin, right in the center of Los Angeles there, and the smoke plume can be seen for miles.
Truly is an unbelievable picture, and again, I mean, we've been on it for at least half an hour, maybe about 40 minutes, and it seemed as if they were getting it under control, but again, all of a sudden it just got bigger, and lots of smoke in the air, and the flames just do not seem to be letting up. So there's something that is fueling that fire inside. Again, this is a food processing plant, Windsor Foods, but it only makes you wonder what's inside that is actually fueling this fire, because obviously food can't possibly do that.
If it is in fact, as we believe to be, this food processing plant, it's a company with outlets all across Southern California, and it arranges for industrial food services. And Mike Case is overhead at the controls of Sky 2. Mike, this fire first reported right about 5:30 or so. You were nearby at Los Angeles International Airport, and you say seeing the smoke, even though it wasn't really very light yet, was no problem at all. Now, of course, visible for many miles because the sun's coming up.
You know, Kent, the tower operator, I said, you see the smoke? We're headed for the smoke. And he said, I see it from here. I mean, the guys in the tower could see it, we could see it, and it wasn't even sunrise yet. It was just amazing, just thick black smoke. And we looked at these, the fire was actually, the flames were up about 150 feet or so. We're up at like 800 feet right now, and those are a good 100 feet above the ground. Again, this is in right off of Alameda, but check out those firefighters. We're just going to push into a couple of these guys on these ladders with the fire cannons. I cannot even imagine how hot and smoky that is. Now they've got, of course, that rescue breathing equipment. They're good for about 30 minutes on each tank of air, but it's still very hot, and you know, they have to send these guys up on the ladders to do it. You can't remotely control that. I guess they could remotely control the water, but I'll tell you, it is just a really tough job. Alameda, again, is shut down here between Gage and Florence. This started because of an explosion, or the fire started and then an explosion, but we know some type of an explosion occurred, and that thick black smoke. They've got lots of fuels in that burning in that building, and we're not exactly sure what's in there to cause just this huge, tremendous amount of flames and smoke.
We have not heard of any injuries as well, but we do know, I was looking at the amount of people that actually work or staffed at this place is anywhere from 20 to 49 people. Again, it happened very early, but we have not heard of any injuries so far, so that certainly is a good thing.
We'll keep an eye on this fire burning this morning, still out of control in Huntington Park. Sky 2 first on the scene. Live with the latest, we will check back. The time is coming up on 6:11 here on CBS 2 News.